In the vast expanse of the cosmos, where countless stars twinkled like diamonds scattered across a velvet canvas, there existed a civilization so grand and powerful that it defied imagination. This was the Galactic Empire, a behemoth that stretched across millions of light years, encompassing thousands of worlds and trillions of beings. Its very name struck awe and fear into the hearts of those who heard it, for the Empire's reach was long and its grip was iron. At the heart of this cosmic colossus sat the imperial capital, a planet so heavily modified and built upon that its original surface was no longer visible. Towering spires of gleaming metal and shimmering force fields reached towards the stars, a testament to the Empire's technological prowess. Here, in the grand halls of the Imperial Palace, the fate of entire star systems was decided with the stroke of a pen or the nod of a head. The Emperor, a being of mysterious origins and immense power, ruled from atop this glittering mountain of achievement. Few had ever seen the Emperor in person, but all felt the weight of their rule. Countless races and species, each with their own rich histories and cultures, had been absorbed into the Empire over the millennia. Some came willingly, lured by promises of prosperity and protection. Others were given no choice, their worlds conquered and their people subjugated. The Empire's military might was unparalleled. Vast fleets of starships, each large enough to blot out the sun of a small world, patrolled the Empire's borders and kept its citizens in line. Sleek fighters darted between these massive vessels like schools of fish, while ground forces equipped with weapons capable of leveling entire cities stood ready to deploy at a moment's notice. But it was not just through brute force that the Empire maintained its grip on power. A complex network of spies, informants, and double agents permeated every level of imperial society. Information was power, and the Empire jealously guarded its secrets while hungrily devouring those of others. The average citizen of the Empire lived a life of relative comfort and safety, at least compared to the chaos that reigned in the unexplored regions of space. Advanced medical technology had all but eliminated disease and extended lifespans to centuries. Automated systems handled most menial tasks, leaving people free to pursue education, art, or simply leisure. Yet beneath this veneer of civility and progress lurked a deep current of unrest. Not everyone was content with the Empire's rule. Whispers of rebellion echoed through the dark corners of seedy spaceports and in the encrypted transmissions of secret resistance cells. The Empire's expansion had made many enemies, and they waited in the shadows for their chance to strike. It was against this backdrop of power, intrigue, and simmering conflict that the Empire's attention turned to a small blue-green planet spinning quietly in an unremarkable arm of a spiral galaxy. Earth, as its inhabitants called it, had long escaped notice, protected by its isolation and the vast distances of space. But now, as the Empire pushed ever outward in its relentless quest for new resources and territories, this little world found itself in the crosshairs of the greatest power the universe had ever known. The discovery of Earth was made by a routine scouting mission, one of thousands launched every day to map and assess potential new acquisitions for the Empire. The scout ship, a sleek vessel designed for stealth and speed, dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. Its sensors immediately began scanning the planets, cataloging their composition and potential value. At first, the system seemed unremarkable. A few gas giants, some barren rocky worlds, nothing out of the ordinary. But as the scout ship approached the third planet from the sun, its crew sat up and took notice. Here was something different, something special. Earth teemed with life, its surface a patchwork of blue oceans, green forests, and sprawling cities. The atmosphere was rich in oxygen, its biosphere complex and diverse. But what really caught the Empire's attention were the planet's inhabitants. Humans, as they called themselves, were a young species by galactic standards. They had barely taken their first steps into space, their technology primitive compared to the Empire's. And yet there was something about them that gave the scout crew pause. These humans displayed a remarkable adaptability, a fierce creativity that had allowed them to thrive and expand across their world despite their limitations. The scout ship's captain, a grizzled veteran of countless such missions, felt a twinge of unease as he compiled his report. These humans were unlike any species the Empire had encountered before. They were unpredictable, their history filled with both great acts of kindness and terrible atrocities. They created beautiful art, and as the scout ship slipped away from Earth, its stealth systems ensuring it remained undetected, the captain knew that his report would cause quite a stir back at Imperial Command. He was right. The news of Earth's discovery spread through the upper echelons of the Empire like wildfire. Emergency meetings were called, strategies debated, and plans drawn up. Some advocated for immediate invasion, arguing that Earth's resources and strategic position made it too valuable to ignore. Others urged caution, warning that the humans' unpredictable nature could make them dangerous if cornered. In the end, as always, it was the Emperor who made the final decision. Earth would be brought into the Empire one way or another. But first, they would test the waters, probe Earth's defenses, and assess the humans' capabilities. And so, as the people of Earth went about their daily lives, blissfully unaware of the cosmic spotlight now focused upon them, the machinery of the Galactic Empire ground into motion. Fleets were mobilized, diplomats briefed, and spies dispatched. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. Little did the Empire know that in choosing Earth as its next target, it had awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity, with all its flaws and virtues, was about to face its greatest challenge. And in doing so, they would show the galaxy exactly what they were capable of. The Galactic Empire had declared its intentions. Earth's response would echo across the stars for millennia to come. The vast darkness of space was broken only by the faint twinkle of distant stars and the occasional flash of a passing comet. In this cosmic ocean, a sleek spacecraft glided silently, its metallic skin reflecting the light of a nearby sun. This was the ISS Pathfinder, one of the Galactic Empire's most advanced scout ships, tasked with exploring the fringes of known space in search of new worlds to conquer. Captain Zorn, a veteran of countless scouting missions, stood on the bridge, his 4 eyes scanning the holographic displays that surrounded him. His scaly skin shimmered under the soft blue light of the ship's interior, and his tail twitched with anticipation. They had been out here for months, charting unremarkable systems and lifeless rocks, but today felt different. "Sir," called out his sensor officer, a member of a silicon-based species that looked more like a crystalline sculpture than a living being. "I'm picking up unusual readings from the next system." Zorn's antenna perked up. "Unusual how?" "The third planet from the star. It's showing signs of a nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere, liquid water, and complex life forms." A hush fell over the bridge. Habitable planets were rare enough, but one teeming with life? That was a discovery that could make careers or break them, if handled poorly. "Helm! Set a course!" Zorn ordered, his voice steady despite the excitement building in his chest. "Let's take a closer look." As the Pathfinder entered the solar system, the crew's excitement grew. They passed a red planet with polar ice caps, a massive gas giant with swirling storms, and finally approached a blue-green jewel that hung in space like a cosmic marble. Earth. The ship's cloaking device engaged automatically, rendering them invisible to the primitive scanning technology of the planet below. Zorn ordered a full sensor sweep and the results began pouring in. "Captain, this is incredible," the science officer reported, her tentacles waving in excitement. "The biodiversity on this planet is off the charts. Millions of species, complex ecosystems, and—" "Wait a second. What is it?" Zorn asked, leaning forward. "There's clear evidence of artificial structures. Cities, networks of roads, even primitive spacecraft in orbit. Sir, this planet has intelligent life. The implications hit Zorn like a plasma blast. Intelligent life was the holy grail of planetary exploration. The Empire always needed new worlds to fuel its ever-expanding machinery, but a planet with a native civilization? That was something else entirely. As the Pathfinder orbited Earth, hidden from the eyes and instruments of the humans below, Zorn and his crew began the painstaking process of observation and analysis. They intercepted radio and television broadcasts, piecing together the planet's languages and cultures. They marveled at the diversity of the human species, so many different ethnicities and cultures, all on one small world. But it wasn't just the humans that fascinated them. Earth's ecosystem was unlike anything they had ever seen. The sheer variety of life forms, from the tiniest microorganisms to the largest whales, was staggering. Zorn found himself particularly drawn to the oceans, which covered most of the planet's surface and held secrets that even the humans had yet to fully explore. As days turned into weeks, the picture of Earth and its inhabitants grew clearer, and with it, a sense of unease began to creep over Zorn. These humans were primitive by Empire standards, yes, but they were advancing at an alarming rate. In just a few centuries, they had gone from horse-drawn carriages to spacecraft capable of reaching their own moon. Moreover, there was something about their nature that both intrigued and unsettled Zorn. Humans seemed capable of both tremendous creativity and horrific destruction. They created beautiful art and music, yet waged wars that scarred their planet. They showed great kindness to one another, yet also displayed shocking cruelty. Sir, his first officer approached one day, looking troubled. I've been analyzing their historical records. These humans, they're survivors. Time and again they've faced catastrophes that should have wiped them out. Yet they always bounce back, stronger than before. Zorn nodded slowly. He had come to the same conclusion. They're adaptable, he mused. More so than any species we've encountered, and dangerous because of it. As their mission neared its end, Zorn faced a dilemma. His report to Imperial Command would shape the Empire's approach to this new world. If he emphasized Earth's resources and the primitive nature of its technology, it would likely trigger an immediate invasion. But if he highlighted the humans' potential and their unpredictable nature, it might lead to a more cautious approach. In the end, Zorn decided on honesty. His report was comprehensive, detailing both Earth's vulnerabilities and its potential dangers. He included a personal note at the end. In my many years of service to the Empire, I have never encountered a species quite like these humans. They are primitive, yes, but they are advancing at an unprecedented rate. Their adaptability and resilience make them unpredictable. I advise caution in our dealings with Earth. These humans may be more than they appear. As the Pathfinder prepared to leave Earth's solar system, Zorn stood at the viewport, gazing down at the blue planet. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were leaving behind something extraordinary. For better or worse, the discovery of Earth would change the course of galactic history. With a flash of light, the Pathfinder jumped to hyperspace, leaving Earth behind. For now, the humans remained blissfully unaware of the cosmic spotlight that had been cast upon them. But that blissful ignorance wouldn't last long. Back in the heart of the Galactic Empire, Zorn's report caused a sensation. Emergency meetings were called, strategies were debated, and plans were drawn up. The Emperor himself took a personal interest in this newly discovered world. Earth, that small blue planet in an unremarkable corner of the galaxy, was about to become the center of attention for the greatest power the universe had ever known. And the humans, going about their daily lives, had no idea that their greatest challenge and perhaps their finest hour was rapidly approaching. As news of Earth spread through the upper echelons of the Empire, opinions were divided. Some saw a ripe fruit ready for plucking. Others, like Zorn, cautioned that this fruit might have thorns. In the grand halls of the Imperial Palace, the fate of Earth hung in the balance. The next move would be the Empire's. But something told Zorn that these humans wouldn't go down without a fight. The stage was set. The players were in position. And the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what would happen when an unstoppable force met a most unusual and unpredictable object. Earth had been discovered. What happened next would echo across the stars for millennia to come. The sky over New York City was a brilliant blue, unmarred by clouds. It was a perfect day. The kind that made people smile for no reason. But today those smiles were absent. Instead, faces were turned upward, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and awe. Hovering above the city, its massive bulk blocking out the sun, was an alien spacecraft. Similar scenes were playing out in cities across the globe. London, Tokyo, Moscow, Beijing all watched as these silent sentinels took up position over major population centers. In the Oval Office, the President of the United States sat surrounded by her advisors, her face grim. "What are our options?" she asked, her voice steady despite the weight of the situation. The Secretary of Defense shook his head. "Militarily? We're outmatched. Their technology is. It's beyond anything we've ever seen. So we just roll over?" The President snapped, her frustration evident. Before anyone could respond, a young aide burst into the room. "Madam President," he gasped, "the UN Security Council. They're calling for an emergency session. Every nation on Earth." For the first time in human history, the entire world came together. In a hastily convened session of the United Nations, representatives from every country on Earth gathered. The usual political squabbles were set aside in the face of this unprecedented threat. As the session began, the alien ships broadcast a message simultaneously to every television, radio, and electronic device on the planet. The face that appeared on screens worldwide was decidedly non-human gray-skinned, with 4 eyes and antennae that twitched as it spoke. "People of Earth," the alien said, its words translated into every human language. "I am Admiral Zex of the Galactic Empire. Your planet has been chosen to join our glorious civilization. Resistance is futile. Surrender now, and you will be granted status as a protectorate of the Empire. Refuse, and we will be forced to take more drastic measures." The message ended, leaving billions of humans in stunned silence. Back at the UN, heated debates erupted. Some nations called for immediate surrender, arguing that it was the only way to ensure humanity's survival. Others insisted on fighting, even in the face of overwhelming odds. As the arguments raged, a quiet voice cut through the chaos. It belonged to Dr. Amara Okoro, a brilliant physicist from Nigeria. "We don't need to fight," she said, her voice growing stronger as all eyes turned to her. "And we certainly don't need to surrender." She stepped up to the podium, her eyes blazing with determination. "For years, my team and I have been working on something in secret. Something that could change everything." Dr. Okoro explained that her team had developed a planetary shield, a network of devices that, when activated, could create an impenetrable energy barrier around the Earth. It was technology beyond anything humanity had publicly acknowledged possessing. "But that's not all," she continued. "We've also developed weapons capable of matching their ships. We've kept these advances secret, knowing that if we revealed them too soon, we might turn them against each other. But now, faced with this threat, it's time to unite." The UN erupted into chaos once more, but this time with a newfound hope. After hours of debate, a decision was reached. Earth would not surrender, nor would it fight, at least, not yet. Instead, they would send a message. As the world held its breath, a transmission was beamed to the alien ships. On screens across the planet and in the Empire's ships above, the face of the UN Secretary-General appeared. "To Admiral Zex and the Galactic Empire," he began, his voice firm. "We, the United People of Earth, have a response to your demand." He paused, allowing the tension to build. Then, with a slight smile, he delivered Earth's jaw-dropping reply, "No." The Secretary-General continued, "Earth is not yours to take. We are not a prize to be won or a resource to be exploited. We are a free and sovereign world, and we intend to remain so." As he spoke, something remarkable happened. All around the globe, hidden installations hummed to life. In orbit, satellites that had masqueraded as ordinary communication relays revealed their true nature. A shimmering field of energy began to form around the planet. "We have the means to defend ourselves," the Secretary-General said, as the planetary shield solidified. "We have chosen peace for many years, but make no mistake, we are ready for war if you force our hand." In the Empire's ships, alarms blared as their sensors detected the shield and the weapons now aimed at them. Admiral Zex stared at his screens in disbelief. How could they have missed this? How could these primitives have such advanced technology? The Secretary-General's message wasn't finished. "However, we prefer a different path. We propose an alternative. Let us join your empire not as a conquered world, but as equals. We have much to offer our creativity, our diversity, our indomitable spirit. And in return, we could learn much from you. He leaned forward, his eyes seeming to stare directly at Zex. The choice is yours, Admiral. You can retreat and report to your superiors that Earth is not the easy target you thought. You can attack and face a war that will cost you dearly, even if you win. Or you can open a dialogue, and together we can forge a new future for both our peoples. With that, the transmission ended. On Earth, billions waited with bated breath. In the Empire's ships, confusion and uncertainty reigned. Admiral Zex found himself facing the most difficult decision of his long career. The humans had outmaneuvered them completely. Their show of strength was impressive, but it was their offer that truly gave him pause. In all the Empire's history, no world had ever proposed such a thing. Hours passed, feeling like an eternity to those waiting below. Then, finally, a response came. "People of Earth," Admiral Zex's voice rang out. "Your response is unexpected. We find ourselves intrigued by your proposal. We will withdraw our ships to a respectful distance and relay your message to the Imperial Senate. This is not a retreat, nor is it acceptance, but it is a beginning." As the massive ships moved away from Earth, cheers erupted around the globe. Humanity had stood its ground, and in doing so had changed the course of galactic history. In the days that followed, Earth buzzed with activity. The truth about the hidden technologies was revealed, leading to both celebration and controversy. Plans were made for potential diplomatic missions to the Empire and for bolstering Earth's defenses further. The future remained uncertain. The Empire might still choose war, or they might accept Earth's bold proposal. But one thing was clear. Humanity had announced its presence on the galactic stage in a way that could not be ignored. Earth's jaw-dropping response had done more than just surprise the Galactic Empire. It had opened up a new chapter in the story of both civilizations. And whatever came next, the universe would never be the same. The gleaming halls of the Imperial Palace on Zyrax Prime, the capital world of the Galactic Empire, buzzed with an excitement not seen in centuries. Delegates from across the galaxy had gathered for an unprecedented event, the arrival of the first official Earth delegation. Admiral Zex stood at attention, his 4 eyes fixed on the massive doors at the end of the Grand Hall. He still couldn't quite believe how events had unfolded. What should have been a routine conquest had turned into the most significant diplomatic event in recent Imperial history. The doors swung open, and a hush fell over the assembled aliens. In walked the Earth delegation, a diverse group representing various nations and expertise. At their head was Dr. Amara Okoro, the Nigerian physicist whose revelation of Earth's hidden technologies had changed everything. As they approached the Imperial throne, many in the crowd whispered and pointed. Humans looked so ordinary. How could these simple bipeds have resisted the might of the Empire? The Emperor, a being of swirling energy contained within an ornate exosuit, spoke. "Welcome, Earthlings. Your arrival here is most unexpected." Dr. Okoro stepped forward, her voice clear and confident. "Thank you, Your Imperial Majesty. We come in peace and with hope for a prosperous relationship between Earth and the Empire." What followed was a series of presentations and negotiations that left the Imperial Court stunned. The humans revealed glimpses of technologies that rivaled or even surpassed those of the Empire in some areas. Dr. Okoro demonstrated a small device that could create miniature, controlled singularities, a technology that could revolutionize energy production across the galaxy. A team of engineers showcased plans for ships that could fold space-time, potentially making them faster than anything in the Imperial fleet. But it wasn't just their technological prowess that impressed the Imperial Court. The humans showed an adaptability and creative problem-solving ability that was unlike anything the Empire had encountered before. During a break in the proceedings, Admiral Zex approached Dr. Okoro. "I must admit," he said, "we severely underestimated your species. How did you manage to hide such advancements from our initial scans?" Dr. Okoro smiled. "Admiral, what you saw was just the tip of the iceberg. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, It's our diversity and our ability to come together in times of crisis. She went on to explain how Earth's history of conflicts and challenges had forged a species that was incredibly resilient and innovative. Every time we've faced extinction, we've not only survived but thrived, she said. It's not just about having the technology, it's about how we use it. As the negotiations continued, more of Earth's hidden strengths came to light. The humans demonstrated an understanding of biodiversity and ecosystem management that amazed Imperial scientists. Earth's oceans, they learned, contained life forms and potential medicines that could revolutionize healthcare across the galaxy. The Empire was particularly intrigued by humanity's arts and culture. The diversity of music, literature, and visual arts from Earth was unlike anything in the Empire's vast archives. Many Imperial citizens found themselves captivated by human creativity, leading to a sudden surge in demand for Earth's cultural exports. But perhaps the most surprising revelation came during a military exchange. The Empire had always prided itself on its strategic prowess, yet human military historians and strategists presented battle analyses and tactical innovations that left Imperial generals in awe. Your species' history of warfare is disturbing yet fascinating, one Imperial general admitted. You've developed strategies we never even considered. As the days passed, it became clear that Earth was not just joining the galactic community, it was reshaping it. The humans' unique perspective and problem-solving abilities were already being applied to long-standing Imperial issues, yielding surprising results. However, not everyone was pleased with these developments. Some within the Imperial court saw the humans as a threat to the established order. Whispers of conspiracy began to circulate, and plans were made in shadowy corners of the Imperial palace. On the final day of the negotiations, as the Earth delegation prepared to present their proposal for a new type of alliance with the Empire, chaos erupted. A group of hardline Imperial loyalists attempted to sabotage the proceedings, unleashing a swarm of deadly nanobots in the Grand Hall. In the panic that followed, the true extent of humanity's hidden strengths was revealed. Dr. Okoro calmly activated a personal shield that not only protected her but expanded to cover nearby delegates. Other members of the Earth delegation sprang into action with a coordination that spoke of extensive training. To the amazement of the Imperial court, the humans neutralized the threat in minutes, using a combination of advanced technology and quick thinking. One delegate reprogrammed the nanobots on the fly, turning them against their creators. Another used sound waves to disrupt their swarm intelligence. As the dust settled, the Emperor himself stood, his energy form pulsing with what could only be described as astonishment. "It seems," he said, his voice echoing through the hall, "that we have much to learn from our new friends from Earth." In the aftermath of the attack, the alliance between Earth and the Galactic Empire was cemented. The humans had proven themselves not just technological equals, but valuable allies in facing the unknown challenges of the universe. As the Earth delegation prepared to return home, Admiral Zex approached Dr. Okoro one last time. "I must know," he said, "was this all part of your plan? Did you anticipate everything that happened here?" Dr. Okoro laughed, a sound that still seemed strange to Imperial ears. "Admiral, if there's one thing you should understand about humans, it's this. We're at our best when we're improvising. Our plan, if you can call it that, was simply to come here and be ourselves." She paused, looking out at the stars visible through the palace's crystal dome. "We didn't know what would happen, but we were prepared for anything. That's humanity's true hidden strength, our ability to adapt, to face the unknown with courage and creativity." As the Earth ships departed, leaving a changed empire in their wake, Admiral Zex watched them go. He couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The galaxy had underestimated these humans, these inhabitants of a small blue planet in an unremarkable corner of space. But they wouldn't make that mistake again. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and the universe would never be. In the years that followed, the alliance between Earth and the Empire flourished. Human innovations spread across the galaxy, while Earth benefited from Imperial knowledge and resources. Together, they faced new challenges and explored the furthest reaches of space. And always, there was that hint of hidden strength, that sense that humanity had more surprises up its sleeve. It kept the Empire on its toes, fostered mutual respect, and promised a future filled with endless possibilities. The story of Earth and the Galactic Empire had only just begun, and the next chapter promised to be even more exciting than the last. The sun was setting over New York City, painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and pink. Sarah Chen, a young astrophysicist, sat in her small apartment, eyes glued to her computer screen. She had been analyzing data from deep space radio signals, a routine task that had suddenly become anything but routine. "This can't be right," she muttered, running the numbers again. But the result was the same. The signal she had detected was not random noise. It was structured, complex, and definitely not from Earth. With shaking hands, she reached for her phone to call her supervisor. Halfway across the world, in a military base deep in the Siberian wilderness, Colonel Alexei Volkov stared at a radar screen in disbelief. Multiple objects moving at impossible speeds had just entered Earth's atmosphere. They were like nothing he had ever seen before. "Scramble the jets," he ordered, his voice tense, "and get me the Kremlin, now." Similar scenes were playing out across the globe. In Beijing, Tokyo, London, and Washington, D.C. leaders were being woken up with news that would change the course of human history forever. As dawn broke over the United Nations headquarters in New York, an emergency session was underway. The General Assembly Hall was packed, with representatives from every nation on Earth present. The tension in the room was palpable. UN Secretary-General Amina Bello stood at the podium, her usually calm demeanor strained. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, "I know you've all been briefed on the situation, but I'm afraid the reality is even more extraordinary than we initially thought." She took a deep breath before continuing. Approximately 6 hours ago, multiple unidentified objects entered Earth's atmosphere. They have taken up positions over major cities across the globe, and they have made contact. A murmur ran through the assembly. Amina held up her hand for silence. The message was transmitted simultaneously to every major government and broadcast network on the planet. It was in perfect English, as well as every other major language. The translation was flawless. She pressed a button, and a deep, slightly metallic voice filled the hall. "People of Earth, we come in peace. We are representatives of the Galactic Empire, a civilization that spans countless worlds across the cosmos. Your planet has been chosen to join our grand alliance. We offer you advancements beyond your wildest dreams, protection from the dangers that lurk in the depths of space, and a place among the stars. All we ask in return is your loyalty and obedience to the Emperor. We await your response." As the message ended, the hall erupted into chaos. Some representatives shouted for immediate surrender, while others called for resistance at any cost. The cacophony grew until Amina's voice cut through the noise. "Silence," she shouted, her voice amplified by the room's speakers. "This is not a time for panic or rash decisions. We must approach this with caution and unity." In the following hours, a global task force was hastily assembled. Scientists, military leaders, linguists, and diplomats from around the world were brought together to analyze the situation and formulate a response. Dr. Sarah Chen found herself at the center of it all. Her discovery of the initial signal had catapulted her from obscurity to a key position on the task force. As she shared her findings with the group, she couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and terror. The technology required to send this message to appear simultaneously over every major city. "It's beyond anything we can comprehend," she explained. "We're dealing with a civilization that is centuries, maybe millennia, ahead of us." Colonel Volkov, who had been flown in from Siberia, spoke up. "Then we have no choice but to surrender. We can't fight an enemy with that level of technology," but not everyone agreed. Dr. Kwame Osei, a renowned anthropologist from Ghana, shook his head. "We can't just roll over. Yes, their technology is advanced, but that doesn't mean they're infallible. We need to learn more about them, understand their motivations." As the debate raged on, a young diplomat from India, Arjun Patel, had an idea. "What if we don't give them a yes or no answer right away? What if we invite them to a dialogue? The idea gained traction. After hours of discussion and planning, a response was crafted. Amina Bello would deliver it on behalf of all humanity. As cameras rolled and billions watched around the world, Amina stood before a backdrop of the United Nations logo. Her voice was steady as she spoke. To the representatives of the Galactic Empire, we, the United People of Earth, acknowledge your message. We are honored by your invitation to join your civilization. However, such a monumental decision cannot be made hastily. We request a face-to-face meeting with your representatives to discuss the terms of this potential alliance. We have much to learn from each other, and we believe that any lasting relationship must be built on mutual understanding and respect. She paused, then added, "We await your response and look forward to the possibility of a peaceful and prosperous relationship between our worlds." As the broadcast ended, the world held its breath. Hours passed with no response from the alien ships. Tension mounted as people around the globe stared at the silent vessels hovering over their cities. Then, just as hope began to fade, it happened. A bright light appeared beneath the ship over New York. It widened into a circular opening, and a smaller craft emerged, descending towards the United Nations building. Amina Bello, along with a hastily assembled welcome committee, stood on the roof, hearts pounding as the alien craft landed. With a soft hiss, a door opened, and out stepped a being unlike anything they had ever seen. It was tall, with gray skin that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. 4 eyes blinked independently, taking in the scene, while antennae twitched, sensing the air. When it spoke, its voice was the same one they had heard in the broadcast. "Greetings, people of Earth. I am Admiral Zex, representative of the Galactic Empire. We accept your invitation to dialogue." As Amina stepped forward to greet the alien diplomat, she felt the weight of history on her shoulders. This was humanity's first contact with an alien civilization, a moment that would be remembered for millennia to come. "Welcome to Earth, Admiral Zex," she said, extending her hand in a universal gesture of peace. "We have much to discuss." As the alien tentatively reached out to shake her hand, a new chapter in human history began. The future was uncertain, filled with both incredible possibilities and potential dangers. But one thing was clear: nothing would ever be the same again. Earth's first contact with the Galactic Empire had been made. What happened next would determine the fate of humanity and its place in the cosmos.